Great way to start. I will keep an eye out for Amanda, and we can start maybe by just doing a little round of introductions and maybe just share your name, where you are in the world, and one thing you love about animal communication. How about that? I will start us off. I'll be the introductions guinea pig. My name is Shannon. I'm here in Houston, Texas, where, and Linda can verify this, we are rapidly approaching 100 degrees and just had a rogue storm, which is wonderful because it allows all of the eager mosquitoes to breed and then I can go outside and feed them. So it's very meaningful to me. I have a crew of pet mosquitoes all summer long that eagerly looks forward to seeing me when I go outside to take care of my animals. And one thing I love about animal communication is, well, many things, but the thing that really comes to mind at this moment in time is I truly feel like learning to talk with animals is making me a better human, more empathic, more aware, and more able to be of service. And I feel like that was a gift that I don't feel like anything else in my life has given it to me in the way that animal communication has. So, yeah, pretty meaningful. Who would like to go next? Yes, Crystal.
Hi, sorry this says Kenton Trigger. That's my husband's name, and I don't know how
It's
to use
okay.
technology to change it, but my name is
Hmm.
Crystal. I'm from Southern California, so I'm kind of like in a suburb of like the LA area, and I'm super new to all of this. I've been communicating with Shannon a little bit and trying to, help I don't know, figure it out. So, and bear with me. And I look forward to learning how to communicate with animals just to connect better with my family. I have a dog in my family who's been with me for 14 years, and I feel like I might be nearing the end of her life. And so I just want to make sure she knows I love her and just have that communication at a whole nother deeper level than what we've had.
That's wonderful. And Crystal, as a part of our circle, we can also add you and your precious pup to an upcoming special workshop every month. One of the practices that we do is an inner circle connect with one of our animals. And so I will reach out to you about that on email so we can set that up and you can
Okay.
have the experience of having all of us tune in with her as well.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
special. Thank you. I will.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. For all of us, it would be special as well. So thanks for letting us know. Who would like to go next? Yes, Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm in the Charleston, South Carolina area.
Mhm.
And what I really wanted to share tonight after hearing you, Crystal, is I was at that same place with my dog when she was nearing the end of her life when I got into animal communication with Shannon. So it's been an amazing gift, and it'll be likewise for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Really happy to have you with us. I saw Dee's hand.
Yeah, I'll go. First of all, Crystal, I love your last name, Trigger. That's my
Yeah,
pony's name.
thought
This
that
is
too.
terrific. But I'm from the Chicagoland area, and I gotta say that we've met so many times, and I've said the same things and over. But the latest thing that I really discovered is that I need to ask the animals' side of everything. It's not like, oh, here's a pill to take, you need to get this, but how do you feel about taking this? You know this is going to be better for you. So it's really an ongoing conversation. It's not question and answer. It's asking what they feel. That's to me it's just really important.
I love that, Dee, and I love that we have all been able to be a part of your journey as you've continued to work so hard and be so open to the art of animal communication because it is an art.
And I know Crystal and Nita don't know the story. We had a big raccoon story. There's a part 2 and part 3. Whenever you guys want to hear it, this is just it just brings tears. It's such a warm story, but not tonight. But I would, but this is not what we're doing tonight.
And who are you bringing with you? Who's your plus one?
Oh,
yeah,
Woody's here. And she might have some nibbles of food while we're here tonight because it's kind of late.
Yep.
Or late.
Yeah. Well, we always look forward to seeing Woody. She contributes a lot to our circle. Who would like to go next?
I'll go since I'm unmuted.
Yes.
I'm Sherry, and I'm from the Bay Area in Northern California in Oakland. And I really am enjoying animal communication. I started last year, I think, maybe around summertime with Shannon. I took a class. So my journey's only been a year so far, and I absolutely love it. It's just been very heartfelt and very fulfilling spiritually wise for me. And I love just learning everything, and every session we have brings amazement. So it's wonderful. You're going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So much to learn.
Thank you, Sherry. Well, the animals are such amazing teachers. And I feel like every single session they take us deeper. And it's always so exciting to show up for something and think, I don't know who I'm going to meet tonight. I don't know what I'm going to learn tonight. But I know I'm going to come away with new insights. They're so good at it. So, Linda, how about you?
Yeah, I'm also in Houston, as Shannon mentioned, enjoying this hot, humid weather that we have for about 11 months of the year.
I know, right?
Right. I guess I've been with Shannon about 2 years, I think, maybe a little longer than 2 years. We could go on and on for hours about what this means, but it's so exciting to me when more than one of us get the same thing when we're talking with an animal, and especially if it's something really off the wall, like I saw a blue marble and someone else saw a blue marble. That's just so exciting.
Yeah, that's really fun. It's really fun. You know, animal communication, it can be hard work. Absolutely. We're carving new neural pathways. They don't carve themselves. So we do need to make that self-effort, but there's always so much joy in it as well. And one of the benefits of Circle is we celebrate one another, and we're always learning from each other. I can't tell you how many ideas I have received from each one of you that I then take into my sessions. So it is truly a process of recognizing that we each bring something unique and utterly irreplaceable to the evolving conversation. And so if you're here, you've been called and you came and you're needed. And there may be an animal or many animals out there to whom you are the only one who will truly understand. And that's how I view our evolution as communicators, to make sure that every animal out there has somebody they can say anything to. It's not going to be all of us. We're not all going to be able to be that perfect fit, but there's going to be someone for every animal. And that's my vision. And I love that there are those synchronicities. And that's one way that we can really feel encouraged to keep going. Because it's not, it can be a little bit lonely when we're out there by ourselves practicing, and especially with our own animals. And so that's where we can add in speaking with other animals and really get that validation and that community support as well. So thank you, Linda, for that share. Yeah, the enjoyment is not the word I would have chosen for this weather, but I appreciate your enthusiasm and your optimism. Nita, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Thanks, Shannon, for
Hi.
accepting my plea. Yeah.
Oh,
Now, I'm
absolutely.
in India. I'm in India. I live up in the hills of North India, the Himalayas, basically.
Amazing.
So I
Amazing.
moved 6 years ago, and I came with six of my rescues from the city. Tikli was one of the earliest, and well, she's passed on over a year now. I have five of them left. One is right on my foot right now. He's still sleeping. It's about 5:40 in the morning. Yeah, so thank you. Yes, I've been into animal communication for a while, but it's difficult talking to your own ones, especially when you're still so, kind of involved. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. And it's lovely to see all of you across the oceans and miles. Thank you. Thanks,
Oh my
Shannon.
goodness. Of course. Of course. Thank you for sharing precious Tikli. Is that how you say it? Tikli?
Yes, yes.
Tikli. Is there
She
a
had been
special?
named, you see, she had been named by the locals when she was found as a pup. She has these little markings on her eyes, if you've noticed. And that's one of the jewelry, they wear for weddings and
Ah,
all. Yeah.
okay. Well, we'll get to we're gonna get to meet Tikli in just a few minutes. First,
Thank
however, and
you.
I'll just yes, absolutely. And I've got your questions and we are ready to dive in. So, Nita, it's awesome. It's amazing that you are also a student of animal communication. And definitely, I just want to affirm what you shared. And I think we've all experienced this, and Crystal even mentioned it as well. We can end up in these situations with our loves where we just need support. We need somebody else to come alongside us to support clear communication, especially when we're feeling very emotional or conflicted. And that is why we invest in a community, so that we can have these experiences and we can receive insights that maybe for whatever reason we're just blocked or we're too emotional to perhaps clearly receive the messages ourselves. I have many times needed to call on the support of my fellow students and practitioners, and thank goodness that they are there. So we are all here to support one another through any type of life situation where support is needed. And as we
May I add
begin,
something, Shannon?
yes,
Sorry,
Nita.
may I just want to
Mm.
say thank you very much. I love your posts and newsletters, and I've been following you for a very
Oh,
long time. Thank you. I love
oh
them.
my goodness. You're
And
very, very welcome. You're
your
very welcome.
YouTube videos, they're lovely. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks. They're lively, that's for sure. I never know when Petal's gonna feel the need to interject her 2 cents. So you never know what you're going to get or who's going to be
Yeah.
talking. I appreciate that. So, of course, Nita, you are warmly welcome to practice right alongside of us. And the way that we have evolved into communicating as a group is typically we'll start, which we're about to do, and I'll keep an eye open for Amanda in case she pops in late. But we typically begin with just a little bit of a centering and a grounding meditation, guided visualization or contemplation, just to allow us to be fully present. And then we'll take some time to get to know Tikli, just get to know her before, and come back and we'll just debrief from that and just make sure that everybody's tuned in and that we can receive some verification from you. And then we'll take a deep dive look at your questions. So that's kind of what to expect as we flow through the evening. So now let us just take a moment to arrive. Take a deep in breath and a long exhale, longer than your inhale if you can. Another deep inhale, inviting your whole body to move. Waking up any sleepy or grumpy or achy cells. Anyone who needs a little extra oxygen, a little extra revitalization. Another deep in-breath, really striving to feel that middle back region and the region around your waist to move, to expand. Exhaling, again, lengthening that exhale, pushing all of the trapped oxygen out of your lungs so that you have 100% capacity for new, fresh oxygen. Recognizing that for so many of us, shallow breathing has become the norm. We may not even use half of our lung capacity. And what that means is that half the cells in our body aren't getting their needs met. They're not getting enough oxygen that's fresh. They're not getting enough waste transport. It's like the trash service has been stopped in their area. And so they're just not able to support us to send and receive animal messages. So as we breathe in, this simplest of activities is also the one that is most likely to deliver the deepest and most profound insights. Those of you who've been attending for a while are very familiar with me saying that oxygenated cells are intuitive cells. A cell that is struggling to breathe is going to ignore, not going to be interested in, helping us send and receive sensory and intuitive signals. Breathing also brings us back to the present moment, which is where animal communication happens. If our mind is churning, it either means that we have allowed our attention to be drawn into the past or the future and away from the conversation itself, or it means that the animal's message has already been received and our mind is decoding it. In either case, we must come back to right now in order to keep participating in the communication. Breath is the easiest way to do that. And when we extend our exhale, we signal to our nervous system that all is well. So keep that deep, deep diaphragmatic breathing going. Just breathing in and breathing out. Extending that exhale, which lets us know that it's safe to reside in parasympathetic nervous system mode, present moment mode. Now is the time to notice where you are in time and space. Become fully present to your physical container. Fully relaxed as much as you can within the four walls of your physical skin. Become grounded. Become aware of this amazing spinning ball of water and soil that we call home, as it spins around its axis, suspended mysteriously in the middle of space. If that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. And as you are marveling in this miracle, draw your attention to your heart and to the next miracle, which is that we can talk with all of life on this planet, not just with our fellow humans, but with any being, even with the planet Earth itself, with the stars, with the cosmos, with the elementals, with the plants, all sentient life. And anchor to your personal intention for communicating with all life. If you don't have a personal intention or you're still just working on yours, it could take some time. You can borrow mine if it fits. I choose to trust the animals. I trust that I will receive clear communication. Placing your energy in a state of trust, openness, present moment, surrender to having an experience. If you work with a light team, now is the time to call them in. One of my intuitive teachers shared with us that at any given time we can have as many as 33 different helpers waiting for us to ask. That's all we have to do is ask. But we do need to ask. So feel your light team gathering. Feel your loves and spirit of all species. Feel your guides, your mentors, if you work with animal totems or otherworldly beings, angels or archangels, gods, goddesses, elementals, fairies, nature spirits. Allow your team to gather. Notice if perhaps anyone new has joined. Keep breathing. And now visualize or sense or feel yourself stepping across the threshold into the sacred space of our circle tonight. And as you do so, dropping at the door into a little bucket with your name on it, anything that is still tugging at your awareness. To-do lists, dinner plans, the day ahead, whatever it may be, just pop it in the bucket. Know it will be right there waiting for you after our conversation period. You don't have to pick it back up, but it will be there if you want it. And just allow yourself to settle. Allow energetic you, soulful you to settle into a calm and quiet, expectant state. And we are going to take some time just to get to know Tikli. She's a dog in spirit. She is bonded with Nita. And I am going to go ahead and share her photo now for those of you who want to connect to her via photo. And all we're doing is just getting to know her. Just take as much time as you need. It looks like she was about 7 when she passed. She was an Indian native dog, a girl. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit, see if we can see those beautiful little patches Nita was telling us around her eyes, those little marks. Just take as much time as you need. I'm just going to leave her photo up for the next 10 minutes as we tune in. And just a reminder, you can use any of your tools. You can use your packets of information. If you were a crystal or a flower or a movie star, who would you be and why, or anything else along that flavor, those lines. You can ask questions about her likes, about her favorite memories. You can simply hold quiet space and see what sensory impressions, emotions, what your intuitive pathways deliver to you. Or you can use any of the other tools in your toolkit. So we'll take the next 10 minutes and I will mute us all, including myself, and I will be your timekeeper. So you've got about a minute left to just capture any last thoughts, especially the ones that you're tempted to overlook or discount or pass along as maybe too obvious. Don't let those go. Grab them while they're there. As you feel ready, we can return to our circle. And what was it like talking with Tikli? What did she share with you about herself? Whoever would like to start us off, you can just unmute. D, yes.
I think Tikli is a very, very loving dog. She really, really loves her mom. I told her I thought she was a very beautiful girl. I can't get through this.
D, why don't you share with Nita what's happening with you right now?
When I get teary-eyed like this, it means I've really made a connection. And I didn't feel it till I started to talk. Okay, it's gone. All right. I found that she's a very loving dog, and she was thankful that her mom let her be a member of her family. She said that in life, she worked hard guarding her family. She liked to play in sand and be outside. She's the feeling of puppies came to me a lot. And she said she had them once, maybe since you've known her, Nita, or maybe before you knew her. And she kept saying over and over to me that her life was to serve and to guard and to love, and that she was good at caressing, touching, and cradling. But she was also a very good watchdog. She really wanted to guard her family. She feels she left her life form too early. She didn't really want to leave because she was worried that mom would miss her and would need her service. But she said she didn't really feel well and needed to leave. And then she said now she is very happy that mom knows how to communicate with her. And she again said she loves her mom. And she said there were other dogs in the family and that she still helps them while she's in spirit. And then Dee, thanked her for what she did in her life. And that she wants to help her mom. And she wants to let her mom know that she's still helping her mom in many ways. Okay.
Thank you, Dee. So, especially for those of us who are a little bit newer, we all develop our own inner sensing of when we have established the connection. For some of us, it may manifest as goosebumps or chill bumps. For many communicators who are deeply empathic, and most of us do score pretty high on the empath scale, often we'll feel very emotional. Sometimes we may cry. It's nothing to be afraid of. It is important to share with the pet parent or animal guardian so they don't make the assumption that there's maybe something scary or difficult to share that is creating the emotion or the tears. But it's again, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to worry about. It may take some time to notice how you know you've tuned in. Often for me, I'll just get this sense of deep calm, the kind of calm that I wish I could be in for the rest of the day, but I wouldn't be able to drive or do anything. So it can be very subtle. It can also be very obvious, and it may come and go. So if it's not present for communication, it doesn't mean that you haven't made a connection. It just may mean that the animal is working with you in a different way. It may have something to do with the personality of that animal. Sometimes when we are so empathic and we're tuning in with an animal who is also deeply empathic, we may have a little bit more of a connection. There's a synergy there. And so that sudden upwelling of tears, again, nothing to worry about, just very normal, natural, and very healthy. Let's just recognize that how many times in our life have we ever felt such a profound and deep bond with someone? So it's always a gift when it happens. And Dee, that was a beautiful communication. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Who else would like to share? What was it like talking with Tikli? What did she teach you about herself? Yes, Linda. Well,
Dee helped make my point. I got some of the same things she did. So that's always, as I said earlier, it's exciting for me. And I just, as all of you know, I just started off in the very beginning asking questions, and I still do that. I try sometimes to be quiet and see what comes through. It doesn't always work for me. So when I started with her, I told her I loved her photo. I said, do you know what you were thinking when it was taken? And
that's
she
a good
said,
one.
She said she was thirsty. I said, I see your tongue was just sticking out. You looked like you were going to smile. And she said she was happy. I said, what was your happiest memory of being with Nina? She said, joy with our entire family, being with everyone. And I asked her, I said, did you have a special job in the family? She said, I looked for strangers, I protected us. I said, that's a big responsibility, a very big job. Did you do it alone? And she said, no, others helped. And then I asked her, I said, would you tell me something else about your life with Nina and your family? And that's what I didn't get verbal information, but I saw some a pile of very colorful beads. And I think they were wooden beads. And I saw her circle round and round a few times and then lie down. I said, did you have a favorite place to take naps? I guess because I saw her lay down, I asked that. And she said, in the sunshine. I said, is there anything you'd like me to tell Nina? She said, I'm at peace. I love my life there. Here is so interesting. I said, is there something you do there that you will share? And she said, being with many. And I told her, back to her photo, I said, your eyes were deep in the photo. I saw many, as she said, I saw many things that gave me wisdom. I said, can you explain that? She said, I observed and think, I evaluated. I knew a lot. And I finished with, I said, is there anything else you want to say? And she said, I'm waiting for the questions.
Okay. Well, Tikli already picked up that Linda is our resident question queen. She comes up with the best questions. And I always look forward to, I saw a couple of you go, okay, that was a really good one, just like me.
I never know what I'm going to ask frequently. I have kind of an idea, and then it just takes off, and I don't know. But
Well, that's you being very guidable. You know, so often I think when we do have a question drop in, it's because that may be something the animal wants to share with us, and we're perceiving that. So that can be another way to feel, yes, I am connected, when things just start to flow. And it's always normal to feel a little anticipation or maybe a little anxiety or a little nervousness when we're starting, wondering, you know, what is it going to be like? What are we going to get? It can feel a little similar to social anxiety, but then get over that initial hump and we can start to sense into, how do I know I'm connected? Ah, okay, things are starting to flow. I'm getting inspired. So I love it when I hear you say, Linda, I wasn't expecting to ask. I don't know where that came from. That is very
that happens
cool.
a lot. Yeah.
It's work. The animal communication stuff, this stuff works, doesn't it? So that was very intriguing, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little more insight into some of the things that you saw, especially those wooden beads. Who else would like to share? What was it like tuning in with Tikli? Yes. Ah, we got two. I saw your hand first, Sherry.
Okay. Okay, right off the bat, just like what Dee said, before I even anything, it was like I felt this immense energy of love. It was really strong. Like love for her, for Nita. There's just like, I don't know if it was Nita's, it was probably both of their loves for each other, but immediately it was really strong for me, that feeling of love. Never started reading off like that, so that's a new one. And she was like, okay, I'm shaking myself off here. She goes, she had a rough start at life. She said, me and my litter mates did not have enough food. I was lucky to be rescued, and my happiest days were spent with Nita. I felt loved so deeply in my core. I still do feel her great love for me here in spirit. And life with Nita, I was asking her, well, can you tell me a little bit about how your day in, day out life with Nita was? And she said, I felt so deeply in my core. I still do feel her great love for me here in spirit. I followed her everywhere I could. I was like her shadow, and she always snuck me yummy treats, and my eyes would be filled with delight. And I also saw like this really great connection again with both of their eyes. When they would look at each other, there was like this really deep sense of love, super, super deep. And I guess with the eyes, to really emphasize that. She said, I felt like royalty because of the way she was treated and the way she was loved. She said it was hard for her to leave um, when my time was ending. there wasn't anything that could have been done to save me. And it was hard to see her so sad, but that was the path I had to take. And she said, our love is as deep and even deeper than in flesh right now. So she feels like, again, that bond with Nita is like even stronger in spirit than it was in flesh. Yeah. That's what I got.
Is anyone else
But again, I
feeling?
never started a reading with that energy coming at me. It was just really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. Yeah.
Is
Very
anyone else
strong.
feeling that energy too? Kind of getting sucked
Mhm.
into a little bit of a meditative
Yeah.
state? Yeah, you're still channeling it strongly.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Do you get the feeling? This is just a question, Sherry. I have no idea, but this just popped up. Linda style, this question just popped up. Do you get the feeling that somehow Tikli channeled a similar energy to like Reiki? Yeah,
Yeah.
like it has
Yeah,
a similar
absolutely.
quality to it. Like
Yeah.
she was a real channeler,
Mhm.
is a real channeler for a very high vibration
Yeah, it's
energy.
like, yeah. Again, it's like she's holding space for all of us. Like our circle is like engulfed into like this energy of love.
It's like
Just like
this
again, yeah.
vortex of, it
Very
feels very similar to me to like having a Reiki treatment. Yeah, it's really interesting. Of course, we talk
yeah.
to all kinds of
I
different
mean,
animals here, and this is very palpable. So it's really interesting.
yeah, very, very.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could feel it. Absolutely.
yeah, definitely. Thank you, Sherry. Lynn, I saw your hand pop up there too.
So when I first connected, uh, what she shared was I was enfolded in love and deep caring and nurturing, which I so very needed when I was brought to Nita. And then she says, my Nita's home. I look back on it as a grand moment where my life changed, radically changed. And I asked about a favorite memory, and she said, sitting at Nita's feet when she was in prayer and meditation. Her peace resonated out to all of us in her care. And I asked a little bit about her relationship with the other animals in her tribe. She started out with giving me the feeling that she was deep, she was gentle, and she grew peaceful in Nita's care. She said they were all canine with varying degrees of wounding, physical needs, nourishment, and health challenges. She said India is beginning to respect dogs more. Nika is a way shower in this regard. Things were basic, but oh so good there with Nika. India is overrun with street dogs, many of whom have very short and difficult lives. And then she adds, she is very happy to be here with us this evening.
And I'm getting it again. Are you guys feeling it? Just kind of getting sucked in a little bit to this meditative space. A lot of gratitude there. Do you feel that, Lynn, as well? Just a lot of, it feels, I know a lot of us work with the Reiki energy, and so it's like, yeah, that was really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Crystal, would you like to share what came through for you talking with Tikli? I saw you have a feline helper.
Oh, I do. This is Kiki.
Yeah. Oh,
Hello.
hi, Kiki. Hi, sweetheart.
Well, I guess I just want to preface it, but I don't know what
Yeah.
that feeling is to be connected yet. I'm like trying to like, okay, do I feel it? Do I sense it? So I don't know. I'm gonna let you know what came up, and if something hits, I'll do a happy dance, but otherwise I won't beat myself
Okay.
up too much on it. So I don't really know what any of it means, but a blue scarf in the wind, drives in a blue truck with the head out the window and feeling happy, plays with two kids, some connection to chickens. Tikli's very joyful and energetic, love chasing cars, can never throw the ball enough. my left elbow started quivering. I don't know if that's just random. And then I just asked, like, is there anything you want me to tell your mom? And what came through for me was just that I love her so much and I'm not gone and I'm still with her.
Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, absolutely. That this is how it works. This is a sensory and intuitive language. So by the time it gets to the words phase, you've received a sensation, maybe you've received a color, you saw something blue, that's your clairvoyance, you got the sensation of a scarf, most likely that's your clairsentience, your clear sensation. You received different kinds of images, and so that speaks again to the clairvoyant pathway, but there's also so much wrapped in that. Knowing about cars, that's clairaudience. You could maybe hear something that lets you know there's a moving vehicle. So there's so much going on. And by the time it pops out as words, you've received so much information on so many different levels. So no wonder you may feel like, well, I'm not really sure how I know I'm connected yet. That will come. And again, it may shift and it will become its own kind of vocabulary because it may be different depending on the personality of the animal you're tuning in with. But you are busy, busy, busy carving new neural pathways and solidifying your trust in those. And that is absolutely where you should be. And you received quite a bit of information. And thank you for being so brave to share it with us. Nita, before we move into your questions, even though I feel like we have already started to move a little bit in that direction because Tikli has had a few insights to share already, but we'd love to just hear anything that popped out, no pressure, just anything that popped out from anything the communicators have shared so far.
Well, almost everything resonates with me, Shannon, because and uh, I'm surprised that she's so aware of the of the condition of stray dogs in India, because it's really bad. I
Yeah,
don't even want to talk about it. It's really bad.
yeah.
She herself, uh, when she was maybe a year or a little older, she was being physically abused every night by, drug addicts and things. It's a terrible concept. I don't think you've heard of this before. So she was, I mean, it's the worst experience a helpless dog can have. And I couldn't bring her away from there because I lived in a very small apartment in Delhi. I had two other dogs. So I had to wait a year till we moved to the hills. And one of the reasons for moving to the hills, apart from the fact that my son is a cancer survivor, was to give them some kind of, home and safety. So all the 9 dogs I brought were very badly abused. She was the worst. And I think I wrote there, I couldn't do enough for her because maybe I was, so physically tired. I'm 70, looking after these 9 dogs. I couldn't do enough to remove her trauma. It was such a deep-seated trauma. The one thing I just made a few notes.
Sure.
D got it. D got it perfectly, but I think when she meant puppies, she was trying to show the others. Because my son found her when she was maybe 2 months old or something, and she was the only one who was an orphan. The others had families, but she was the only orphan. So I maybe she was referring to that. Now the colorful beads that Linda said, I'm not able to connect. Maybe it'll come to me later.
Yeah.
Unless she meant, we are out in the jungle literally. So there are a lot of these leaves, colored leaves and acorns. And she loved to chew
Mm,
on those acorns. Maybe that's what she was connecting to beads. That's the closest analogy that I can find.
absolutely.
Uh, Shari, everything resonated with me. Lynn too. And this crystals, this last thing about the blue, I'm sure has a significance. I can't place it right now. That's the only thing. So I would say 99% of everything has resonated. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. I've
Absolutely.
told Shannon I have a lot of guilt and regrets over her.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she's at peace. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have a special, special connection with Tikli and her with you. And it's such a blessing to be able to connect in with this. I feel like we are all very powerfully impacted by meeting her. Yes, Dee.
I think Nita, I'm sorry, yeah, Nita, right? Nita. I'm
Nita,
sorry,
yeah.
but I think that we will always feel regrets and worries that we never did enough. I think that's a very normal thing. Look at all you have done for her. Look at the good home and all the love that you did that came out from her to us about you. So sure, you will feel guilty you didn't do enough, but you did so much. There are so many things we can't do. But look at what you did do. That's what you should be restful for.
It's such an important point, Dee. Yes, it's such an important point because at least while we're in bodies, I believe we will have a bigger picture perspective when we transition as well. But at least while we're in these 3D bodies and we have some level of amnesia about the why behind why did these awful things happen? Why can't we fix everything? Why can't we do everything? Why can't we take it all away? And we have to remember each of us comes into these 3D bodies and our incarnations. And I have come to believe through talking with animals that this is true no matter what species we are. We have all chosen a path. We've chosen certain experiences and we have our reasons for them. And so recognizing and honoring Tikli for choosing such a difficult incarnation and really raising our awareness that while we won't understand it, hopefully we will when we transition and we have that bigger picture perspective again. But this is one brave girl. We can all agree on that because she may appear to be a helpless victim through our outward perception outside her life looking in. But at some level, she took on a really difficult incarnation. And I feel like one of the reasons for it is because of how powerfully it allows her to teach us now about what unconditional love looks and acts like, about all the ways that we need to step up the plate to be kinder to ourselves and one another, recognizing that when we're not, this is what can happen. And just giving her back free agency over her life and honoring her for her courage. And that comes through really strongly right now. Just recognizing that at some level she said yes to the most challenging of circumstances for reasons of her own that made sense to her. And I believe that maybe will be something that we will continue to learn from and we can continue to ponder that, the meaning that it has in our own lives. And now we can go ahead and I'm going to do a screen share of the questions that Nita has. And we've already touched on this a little bit. Some of you have already brought through a little bit of information, and I love that. That's another one of my favorite things about animal communication is when it becomes so obvious, even when we're just getting to know the animal, we don't even know what the questions are, and the animal begins to share. It just teaches us even more deeply about how they already know what we're thinking. They already know what we want to know. And so here are the 3 questions. What was the cause of her sudden transition? So a couple of you have already touched on this, so we could just try to go a little bit deeper. See if she can share any more context, anything that might be going on. We can use our body scanning tools, asking her to show us through any of our intuitive pathways, whether it's a visual or it's a sensation in the body or it's a feeling that we have through clear empathy, anything that she might have been experiencing. This is not about diagnosis, it's not about medical terms, it's about her perspective, what led her to feel like her body was no longer habitable and she needed to leave it. So this could be visuals, it could be feelings, it could be sensations. You might get it through song lyrics or the memory of a scene from a movie. We never know. Just staying open to all the ways she can communicate with us. The second question is where and how is she now? So again, a couple of you have already touched on this, proving that Tikli is already deeply tuned in, knows what mom wants to ask, and is eager to answer. So let's just try to go a little bit deeper and ask as well, has she reincarnated? And then some of you have already brought, in fact, everyone has already brought through some messages, but just see if there's anything else that Tikli would like to share. So let's take 12 minutes for this. We have enough time to do this. We'll take 12 minutes and just focus in on any of the questions that really tug at you. And then if there's time, you can ask additional questions. I will go ahead and leave this up while we tune in. And I'll mute everyone, including myself, and let you know when you have a minute left. So you've got about a minute left. Make sure to capture every detail. So allow your attention to return to our circle, and we can debrief and enjoy hearing from each other about what Tikli had to say. And Nita, just FYI, and I should have led with this, but the way that these circles work, you will get a full transcript of the conversations that we've had tonight that you can go back and review. And with your permission, I will include you on a private email thread with the students, and those who have time can tune in with Tikli again if they like. It's up to them, but they can tune in with her again and have another conversation, and we can keep the conversation going, and so they can share any additional insights. For those of you who haven't seen the chat yet, Nita had another question about her soul contract with Tikli, and if it is over now. So wanting to know about her soul contract, what it was, and if it's over. So I will include that in the email thread that I send out to connect all of us afterwards. And so anyone who has time and wishes to, we can stay in contact on email. So who would like to share anything that came through from Tikli on Nita's questions? Just feel free to unmute yourself. Dee, yes.
I'll go. I asked her why the sudden transition, and she said she had been kicked in her underbelly gut area and had a lot of damage that was irreparable. There's nothing could have been done by it, and she couldn't handle it more.
Yeah.
I asked her if about the reincarnation. She said she was not yet reincarnated. It's too scary to come back, but she said if I could return somehow to Nita, and I just might try, or if someone that Nita has soulfully trained to be like her, I would come back. But I don't really think that will happen to someone else. And then this was interesting. You know, my bird Woody is here for all my Zooms, and during the day,
Thank goodness. Yeah, hi.
and I usually say to her, tonight's our Zoom class, and she says, okay, okay. But I never really talked to her. And today I said, what could you tell me about Tikli? Thought, well, you remember I told you at the beginning of tonight, I said I never seem to ask how an animal feels about things. And she said, Woody said, that Tikli feels better now in spirit because there's no pain. And she can stay absolutely in her mom's heart. And she doesn't need a fleshy body. So that's coming from Woody, Nita. Through Woody, I mean, not from her.
Woody has been absorbing everything in animal communication class, hasn't she?
She does.
Yeah, such a good girl. Oh, preciousness. Thank you, Dee.
I hope that helps you too, Nita. And I hope it helps. But it does help Tikli. It helps her. So her way she can talk to us.
Thank you, Woody. We appreciate it. Who else would like to share? Yes, Sherry.
Interesting that Woody said that. I got something really similar.
Do tell.
Yeah, so I'll get to that one because that's number 3, right? So the transition. First it was like some type of like aneurysm type thing. And then the secondary thing I got was the intestinal thing also, just like what Dee said. And again, it was from all the abuse. And she also had, aside from that, like leg pain, I think from the abuse again. She's kind of saying like broken or sprained, like her limbs were hurt and, they were recovering, I guess. But she always had leg pain. But what really did her in was I got aneurysm and intestinal issues that had stemmed from the abuse. And again, there was really nothing. She had told me the first time that there was nothing, that could have been done to really save her. And then Nita, I know that you would have felt guilty that you couldn't do enough. And again, she was like, there was nothing you could do, and you did everything. Your love for her was like the gift that was the most precious thing to her ever. She would endure all the pain all over again just to have that love from you. How and where and how she is right now. She's in spirit, and this is really interesting. She said that she's in spirit and she's prepping other animals, not just dogs, other animals to go back in body and again to live this hard life. So she's like prepping them on what it's going to be like. And the reason why they're going back is these lessons for the abuser is for, at the time, obviously the abusers are abusing the animals. But once those abusers go and pass away and go into spirit, and when they become omni-aware of how they live their life, they're going to remember what they did. And the compassion is going to fill their hardened heart with how wrong they were. And they will learn from that lifetime not to be that way anymore. So the abusive behavior, again, is brought to life to teach compassion so that in the next life, the cycle can be broken. one animal at a time. It's just one person, one abuser at a time, passing away, learning compassion, coming back in life, and not being abusive anymore. So hopefully, as the cycle goes on, we'll have less and less abuse eventually in the world. So again, she has a very important function where she is right now. And as far as reincarnating, she said she may go back again, but not at this time. She said, like her role right now is really important, and there may be somebody else who might want to step into her role to do exactly what she's doing, or she may, also have somebody else come in and fill her spot. But that's what she's doing right now. So she's really important up in the spirit world. She's really trying to break the cycle of abuse with other animals. And any messages, she said she brought me back to where it said, like, she used to follow you around everywhere. And she says, I still do follow you around in spirit. And this time, I just like what Woody was saying, I don't have any aches and pains this time, only total love for you when she's following you around. Again, without her body, she doesn't have the pain and stuff that she once had. And then I did see your chat. So I again asked her about the soul contract. And
Oh, nice.
basically, it was, her love for you and your soul to soul contract with her will never end. She just said to remind you that we are all one and we'll always be deeply connected because we are all one anyway, and we will always be all one. And it sounds to me like anytime you need her, she's there. She is totally there for you. Her love is always there. Yeah. Interesting. I learned something new.
Yep. Yep. We're
In
in
the
the presence
spirit
of a
world. I
master
love it.
teacher. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I think we all learned something new from listening to
Yeah.
what you brought through
She's
tonight.
very
Thank you,
important.
Sherry. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Important position.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sherry. Who else would like to share? What was it like asking Tikli these questions? What did she have to share? Yes, Lynn.
So what I first heard was her spirit self, and this is about her transition. Her spirit self let her know it is now time to leave your riddled body behind. Every part of her was deeply tired and many organs with very low function, dragging her down. Her embodied self was, in a sense, so connected with Nita that she found the physical separation painful, but she understands now the need and wisdom in leaving. She calls her canine family her siblings, and that separation tugged at her heart too. She knew her being there was assisting them. They spoke a language among themselves and assisted each other as much as they were capable with the traumas they all held. She says there is another teacher within the pack. And when I ask, can you tell me who that is? She says it is not one of the older ones, but one who, like she, Tikli, has a deep soul purpose in this family. And when I asked about reincarnation, she said she is not considering it at this time. She continues to learn, grow, and work with her siblings, as she referred to them, from the spirit realm where she now resides. And that's all I got.
Wow. I love it. There is another. That is powerful. More to be revealed. Thank you, Lynn. Who else would like to share? Linda?
I I told her, I said, well, here are the questions. I said, you've been answering some of them already, but is there anything, but I want to ask you about your sudden transition. Is there anything you want to share for Nita? She said, I was sorry Nita took it so hard. I didn't want her suffering because of me. Our love is joy, our togetherness. I said, that's beautiful. She said, it just is. The suffering is over, no more. And then I said, we talked about where you are now. Are you still in the spirit world or have you reincarnated? And it got real quiet, kind of like when I got blocked, but not, but I felt like everything was white. And then she said, you don't need to know this.
Okay.
So she just blocked me out. And I said, that's fine. I won't push. And then I said, what do you have any messages for any of us? That you, and she said, let's see, do you have any message to any of us as we learn to communicate with animals? And when I did, my head started hurting real bad on my left forehead just for a few seconds. Crystal, I have body parts that'll sometimes react to things too. And she said, all of you are learning and it's important. And then I said, is there a special message for Nita? She said, let go of the pain, live in joy. Life should be good. You are so good to all. And I told her it was a real pleasure to get to know her. And she said, you can spend more time with me if you want. I said, thank you. And so I tried to be quiet and just sit there with her. And when I did, my whole right side started tingling for a few seconds. And that was it.
Magic. I would say that I know for me and maybe for all of us, we can take her wisdom to heart, let go of the pain. Life should be joy. Wow. Thank you, Linda. Crystal, would you like to share what it was like talking with Tikli about these questions? No pressure, just if you'd like to.
I honestly feel like I was kind of like in this weird loop in my mind that was like that feeling of love that you guys were talking about, but just kept hearing like grateful and grateful like over and over and over. And I honestly didn't get much other than that, other than my like left arm still kind of bothering me. And then like the word pancreas kept coming. So I don't know if that's like that intestinal thing some of the other people were talking about. But that's kind of all that I got.
Yeah. So a deeply sensory communication. And it's so easy in our obsession with the verbal communication. It's so easy for us to overlook this. It's like this is really a sensory language. And we do get more comfortable with translating it into words. So you did a beautiful job of that. You translated exactly what you were sensing and feeling into words. So obviously the message is this intense gratitude. And there was something going on the left side of her body. Interestingly, as you're sharing left arm, I felt like there was also intestinal damage. So I also received that information and an organ failure. Wasn't quite clear which one, but also I felt there was a heart arrest. And for us as humans, the heart arrest often will manifest as that tension and discomfort along the left side and then the left arm. So what's so interesting about kind of crowdsourcing Tikli's wisdom the way that we're doing is that we may each get a tidbit, pieces of the whole picture, and we can put it together and have a little bit more of a bigger picture, a more full picture than maybe when just one of us is communicating. So if we add everything in together, we get a little bit more detail about what's going on just informationally speaking, I also felt and wrote down that she's not planning on reincarnating at this time. She may consider it in the future, and that she does have a role as a facilitator for animals who are coming into and leaving abuse situations. So a lot of synchronicity, and we are in the presence of a very adept communicator. And we can each arrive at our own conclusions about what that might be. But for me, when I see this level of emotionality, clarity of communication, the intensity of the gratitude and the emphasis on the joy, letting go of the sorrow, letting go of the pain, recognizing where we were able to do good, we did it to the fullest. We're in the presence of an old soul. You know, all animals come into their 3D incarnations pure and perfect. Some, however, are much more evolved in their soul level journey. They've seen more, they've experienced more, they have learned more. And we are in the presence of an old soul tonight. What a beautiful gift. So, Nita, we'd love to hear any thoughts that you have to share, any insights, maybe any information that you have.
Well, firstly, I'm deeply, deeply grateful to you and everyone. You see, you couldn't make out superficially if there was any problem with her, but I always felt, that severe physical and mental abuse must have done something. For a while, she got a little kind of a growth, and I refused to go the biopsy and chemo way. I gave her Ayurvedic medicines, which she had actually communicated I would find a doctor nearby. So we found the doctor, and that was okay. But yeah, I could make out sometimes she wasn't as strong as she should have been. So what happened one morning, she just woke up and didn't eat that day. So and she was never fussy about food. So the next 3 days, Shannon, you won't believe, I took her to the vet. The nearest vet is 3 hours away. So every day we traveled, we made a 6 hour round trip and 4 hours at the vet. So it was a 10-hour day for 3 days.
Wow.
He said it's an infection, gave, the usual stuff, the antibiotics, painkillers. And on the last day, he said, get an x-ray done. And they discovered some kind of a growth. Again, I'm not very clear, but I think it was somewhere, as you said, down the intestines. So on the fourth day, I told her, I said, we are not going anywhere. I'll do whatever I can here. She was very wobbly through the day. In the evening, I mean, she was lying down and I was sitting next to her holding her. She just jerked her head back and went. That was it. And a month and a half before that, another of my rescues, also very severely abused, he had neurological damage. He was fine all day. In the evening, he lay down in his bed and he just went. He just went in 2 minutes. And Tikli was very attached to him. So maybe that also played a part. And towards the end, the last 2, 3 days, she said he was with her. So I think he was helping her transition. So when she speaks about these others, maybe she meant him because he was also, I think, had a very strong soul contract with me. I had to rescue him with a lot of risk, with people threatening us, trying to hold him hostage. And unfortunately, in India, the kind of support you give and everyone gives, we don't get here. Nobody supports you. Nobody.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to each one of you. And of course, I'm very open. You can keep in touch with me. And Shannon, if there's anything else that I remember, I've made little notes.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, because that's easier to answer, otherwise I'm too overwhelmed to remember things. So I will mail to you if there's anyone, please feel free. I have no problem at all. Thank you
Wonderful.
so much. I'm very, very grateful, Shannon. Very grateful. Thank you.
We are all privileged to be able to meet you and to have met Tikli tonight. Thank you for sharing her with us. And as I mentioned, I will provide you with a transcript of the communications to add to your notes, and we will stay in touch via email. And so if any of the communicators have the ability to tune back in, maybe ask a little bit more about the soul contract or anything else Tikli wants to share, then we'll all have the chance to compare notes and stay in touch via our private email thread. So thank you for
Thank you
getting
so
up
much.
so early in the morning to be
I'm
with us.
sorry.
When she
No,
told
I'm
me she
sorry.
was going to get
I'm
up at
sorry I had to
5:30 a.m.
I'm sorry I had to get up once to let my boy out.
Oh, that's
He's an
totally
old boy,
fine.
about 12. He's about 12, and I have to sleep on the floor because he can sleep with me then.
Oh,
And Shannon, I mentioned today is the date Tikli went.
mhm.
So the 5th of every month, I do a little ceremony near her grave. I have 4 graves. I'm almost like I don't know what, like a
A
graveyard
private
here.
cemetery. Yeah.
Almost,
Private, yeah, private burial ground. That's so beautiful. I had complete that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, today
Yeah,
is Tikli's transition day.
yeah,
So,
date.
yeah,
Mm. Thank you
it's
so much. It
amazing.
meant more than I can say. Thank you, each one of you.
Absolutely. It
Say
was,
one thing. I just
yes,
want
Dee.
to say, Nita, thank you for what you do in this life.
Thank you, Dee.
No,
Yes,
truly. You are a wonderful
a
person for
rescue
all that
angel.
you do. Yeah, a real angel on earth. Thank you.
That's very kind of you. I feel like a fallen angel at times.
No, not fun.
Thank you. Well,
Thank
my
you.
dears, another beautiful circle gathering. You will hear from me again soon, and I will connect all of us. And thank you for all that you do as well to give Tikli a voice and a chance to share her wisdom. So we will be
Thank
together
you once
again
again.
soon. And for now, sweet dreams and a
Thank you.
lovely start to your day, Nita.
Yeah.
A
I
lovely
have
start
to
to your day.
I have to go down and make the 5 breakfasts I cook for them
Yeah.
twice a day. So
That's just amazing. All right, my dear one. Well, I'm going to let you go do that then, because you got a lot of
thank
work ahead
you.
of you. All right.
Thank you, all of you.
Bye for
Bye.
Thank you.
now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.